Now, the part of Future Media that we work in is actually on demand. So we work in TV and mobile platforms. So that's specifically looking at everything mobile across the BBC, and then everything kind of on your TV as well. So I don't know how many of you have an interactive TV? Yeah, one? Yeah. Maybe as students you haven't got. Don't have the budget for an interactive TV.
Service? Has anyone ever used the Red Button service?
One
at the back.
That's one or two customers right there.
Put your hand up if you use the BBC iPlayer app on your iOS device.
How many have got a PS3 or an Xbox? You just got everything.
Okay, so in Salford we're a team of about 150, and there's some elements in London that kind of feed into our department as well. And we're looking to grow next year as well, so this isn't a recruitment pitch, but we do have a fantastic graduate scheme. I've got some information we can hand out afterwards if you're interested in working on any of the products and areas that we're going to talk about. Okay, next slide, I think. So, this slide just kind of shows the digital channels that we've got at the BBC. So, the coloured circles in the middle represent the different product areas, and there's 10 of those areas, including news, sport, CBeebies, TV, which is the kind of iPlayer proposition, radio. In our team, we actually work on 9 of those products. I think the only one that we aren't heavily involved in is probably search, although we obviously consume a lot of the services that they provide for us. We then have the challenge that we need to, everything that we do needs to serve those 4 screens as well. So here in Salford, we don't do so much of the responsive web, that's mainly done in London, but we do most of the mobile stuff for probably 5 or 6 of those products. We do all the TV stuff, and also for tablet we do quite a lot of products as well. So, next slide. So, some of the things that we work on up here in Salford. So, we did all the Glastonbury stuff last year and we'll do next year, so that's everything on TV. So, if you were switching between stages, looking at kind of extra information that was coming up, then we did that. There was also a proposition on mobile as well from iPlayer Radio where you could link through to responsive web services. We'll be doing that again, obviously, next year as well. So this is the new iPlayer. So this is a bit of a first, maybe. So we're working on the new iPlayer that's due out in the new year. Lots of great functionality, which I can't really go into, but that's a snapshot of it. So that's on TV. Connected Red Button, as we said as well. So that's developing the Red Button services. And that's kind of rebuilding all those servers into an HTML platform rather than the traditional broadcast system. So there's a much richer experience on TV. That's also looking at dual screen experiences as well, so controlling things from the laptop, being able to move content between the tablet and your phone, and then actually watching it on your big screen as well, which is quite an interesting project that we're working on at the moment. Sports, any of you that are into kind of sport, so the BBC has great coverage of a lot of live events. So we're currently working on TV, just on the TV at the moment, to get extra functionality for Winter Olympics, then Commonwealth Games, but then also for the World Cup next year as well. So enhancing all the services around stats and live updates that you can get on your TV. There'll be associated products that a few other teams are building around what you can bring your tablet and your mobile as well. Playlister, so this is something that we've recently put live. Has anybody heard of Playlister at all? One!
What's your thoughts on Playlister?
I've only heard of it, I haven't looked into it.
Just heard of it.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's something that's only a beta at the moment, so it's not had a massive public launch. It basically allows you to recognise music off the radio that you hear on Radio 1, all the radio channels, and basically tag that into your BBC account so you can create playlists, and then you can export that to, I think, Spotify at the moment, and then looking at different partners that you'd be able to export it to. So if you listen to something on your radio and you go, oh, I like that, you can just kind of tag it and put it onto your playlist, BBC account, and then export that to Spotify later on. Something else, also the DJs are doing playlists based on this as well, so you can sign up to follow a DJ, and then they can actually you can add their playlist to your playlist as well, which would be quite good. So this is a good example of how the BBC is looking to get something out there that's a base product, get the interest, get feedback, and then iterate on that as we get feedback. So if you've got any feedback, then let us know. That one person at the back. Okay, so then we've got iPlayer on mobile. Yeah, just a funny image because it's a number of shots, but as well as being redone obviously on the TV, there's going to be a new mobile iPad proposition as well. That's probably due to come out March next year. It's quite a big project, there's a lot of stuff going on there. But again, we're looking to iterate release on the existing product so people can see benefits sooner rather than later. Yeah, next one. Okay, cool. So just kind of linking to what we're going to talk about next. So we've got all these products that we deliver. We've got all these screens that we have to make sure these products work on. We also, being the BBC, need to make sure that kind of little old granny who's kind of in deepest, darkest Wales, who has a first generation iPhone with iOS 1, is just as important as you or I or anybody else who effectively uses BBC products. So that can give us challenges. Whereas in the commercial world, you might use that 80-20 rule where you just want to develop, or you just want to test, or you just want to support your top 20 products on the most used devices or browsers or iOS versions. Actually, we have to look much broader than that. So there's quite a lot of challenges in how we develop and maintain across all that. So, welcome to Ralph.
Okay, yeah, so Anna's just talked us through what we do. So I was going to do a bit on who we need to do that. So let's start off with a bit of interactivity. And there are roses in it for anyone who speaks up. So it's all good.
Who's going to speak up first?
So what we wanted to ask you was, who would you need in your team? So to develop some of the software that we've just run through, what sort of roles do you think you'd need in that sort of team?
Stick your hand up if you're a developer. Yes.
Okay, so that's our role. Yeah, you'd need to be able to cut some code, I guess, to do something. Who else would you need to support that?
I was going to say team manager.
Team manager,
Yeah, team people.
project manager. I think that.
So, team leaders, line management. Yeah. Have a rose.
Right.
And he's not gone for the strawberry one.
So you've seen how this works. So
Right, so we've got a team manager.
who else?
Designers?
Designers.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, what do designers do?
Or the designer or the humans interact with the software or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need the UX or the
Yeah,
UI,
UX.
yeah.
Yeah. Any more? We've got designers and
Got
developers
Hannah
at the minute.
Testers?
Testers.
What do the testers do? Do the
They break
testers
it.
break things, or do the testers get stuff that's already broken?
No, they try to break your application and at the same time make sure it works the way it's supposed to.
So they break your app, or is the code already broken before the testers get at it?
That depends on the developer.
Cool. So is there another one
Well, I
there?
think that
Down here? That was just testers again. Testers again? Any more for any more? The big bowl of roses here.
Developer, designer and tester. Surely there's got to be some more.
Researchers?
Oh, yeah.
Researchers, okay.
So is,
Go on,
that,
what-
so is that someone kind of validating that that product is something that we should build? Is that
Something that you should be concentrating on, yeah.
Okay.
good?
Any more for any more? No one want a rose?
We've got half a team, I reckon, at the moment.
Yeah. Is that?
I'd go for a quarter of the team.
Go on.
Oh,
That's
well,
someone
Someone that's in charge of testing with users, as opposed to the code.
So
So like a product sort of person or?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to call them.
Yeah,
So
product
yeah.
manager.
You see, people that in test with the users is user acceptance testing. That's what it's actually called, yeah. So they make sure what we built is the concept of verification and validation. Yeah. So have we built the product right? Have we built the right product? And they're two very subtly different things.
Cool. Any more? Is that it? Is that our team?
one more. Come on, there must be someone
Otherwise,
else.
we're going to have to let go of a few people back at the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's about what, 700-800 people get the job.
Alright. Is that everyone that you think? Okay, cool. So I'll move on to who we need in our team. So we've mentioned a couple of them. Here's a couple of others. Some that you may not have heard of. You're thinking you're just making them up. A DIT. A DIT. Does anyone know what a DIT is? No?
Anyone like to have a guess?
I'll give you a clue. The T's for test.
Developer and test.
There you
Well,
go.
do you know what?
That is
Another
it.
voice of that guy.
Just leave the bowl there. Yeah. So, a developer in test, it's, I don't know, Pete, you're probably going to correct me here, but it's kind of like a hybrid of a developer and a tester. So, a tester will traditionally see what the developer's done in some version of the code. A developer in test will try and merge the two together and almost build an automation suite for the testing. So, every time you check in your code or every time you add a new feature, some automated tests run rather than a manual person clicking buttons, that kind of stuff.
And
Is that where test-driven development comes in?
yeah, so
Why
we,
they use that?
Yeah.
So we encourage all the developers to do test-driven development, but a developer in test is kind of the specialist that would sit with the team that would write a lot of the tests where the developers don't have the capacity, but also support the developers to write tests themselves as well. So ultimately, we want everybody to be doing test-driven development. I think that's pretty much where we're at with most of our teams now.
Yeah, definitely.
How many of you guys, when you're writing code, currently write unit tests? Do you write the unit test before you write the code?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Right. How many of you guys write component tests?
Functional tests.
So you've got unit tests, then you've got component tests, then you've got system tests, which are system tests is traditionally where testers go. You've got integration tests and user acceptance tests. So that's kind of the hierarchy of test models. So unit tests, where you guys are predominantly should write a test, write some code, and then make sure the code that we've written passes the test that we've written for. Actually, write the test, make sure the test fails, write some code, make sure the test passes.
Yeah. And that's where our DIT and, to be honest, the whole team sort of chips in. No one mentioned operations. So sometimes I think people assume that you develop some code and it just magically gets pushed out and people start using it. But there are some magical people in the office who actually package it up.